Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Omer. Here we are on day 141, and I'm going to begin the story of Prince Five Weapons. Once there was a king who had a son, and when he came of age, 14 years old, the king sent him off to be trained in all of the most important weapons. The prince, he worked hard to perfect his skills and became adept at using each one of his weapons. He could shoot arrows as well as anyone, wield a sword, fending off aggressors as well as disarming them. He could throw a spear with accuracy and of great distance. And his use of the mace was unparalleled by anyone. He was an incredible warrior. After so many years of practicing and training, his teacher informed him that he was done. He had taught this young prince all he could. And so he sent him on his way. The prince started off for home. He passed through villages and was about to leave one and enter a forest when one of the village people came to him and said, "Do not go through there. There is a monster living in there. He devours everyone that goes through. No one who has ever gone down this road in the last 3 months has survived. We don't know where he's come from, but he's huge. And his body is covered in something that resists all weapons. Don't go." The prince looked at him and said, "I am not afraid. I will go. I do not think it is my fate to be eaten by a monster." And off he went down the trail, right through the forest. As he did, he whistled. He sang a little bit and was merry, for he felt that he was ready and prepared for anything. Invincible, he felt. Soon he heard a crashing in the forest. He could see off in the distance trees coming down directly toward him. He stopped. Soon, there in the road appeared the monster. He was big, 2-3 times the size of a man. And it looked like he had hair on him, but it wasn't quite hair. Well, I can tell you, the prince was not at all afraid. He took his bow and arrow and fired. Picked another arrow and fired it. Used all the arrows he had. And the arrows just, penetrated this monster, but did nothing to harm him. The monster laughed and kept coming toward the prince, who now drew back his spear and threw it as hard as he could. But it too just was absorbed by the monster, and the monster then took it out and threw it away as if nothing had happened at all. Well, with this, the prince prepared himself, unsheathing his sword and making ready. He came at the monster and he wielded his sword, but as he jabbed the sword into the monster, it stuck. You could not even pull it out. The monster, well, he reached out his hand and took hold of the prince and then took the sword out of him and threw it away. The monster felt like rubbery, sticky, and rubbery. And the prince, trying to get away, could not. He took out his mace and pulled it back with his free hand and hit the monster with the mace. But the mace just stuck to the monster just as everything else had. The monster laughed, pulled the mace off his body, and threw it away. What was the prince going to do next? We'll stop the story there and see what happens next.